definitely. Yeah, no, I'll just introduce myself. So I'm Axi. I'm a VRChat World Creator, an AI consultant, the Meshy Community Ambassador, and I guess I also do a bit of music creation lately with Suno. I do a bit of vibe coding, content creation, and I probably call myself an explorer of AI creativity. My thing is mostly just like testing AI tools and turning them into workflows and just automating as much of my own creative process as possible.
Sure. And as kind of a background, what were you doing before the generative AI tools kind of came on the scene? I mean,
Well, I could tell you like the full on story, the Axie origin story if you want. It's pretty long.
okay. Well, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm down for it, but maybe just a summary for now, and then we'll go into details later.
The short summary. All right. Yeah, no, I was doing well, mostly I was just doing my own creative projects without AI. Yeah, as all of these AI tools have become available, I've just started sort of adapting to that and learning to use them. Yeah, mostly like the VRChat world creation, building games in Unity, and yeah, just traditional styles of creativity, I guess.
Sure. Do you do like a non-wired stuff, non-computer stuff? I don't know, singing or painting or something like that.
No, I'm kind of perpetually online and on my computers. I think I used to do a bit of traditional drawing when I was younger, like much younger.
Okay.
So I guess I can do, like sketching and stuff.
Sure.
Otherwise, no, it's mostly, I would say all of my creativity's been online for a very long time. I guess it depends. Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Sure. Well, let me introduce myself. I'm Paul Spooner. I mean, I
Sure.
know this is going up on my channel, but maybe it'll make it somewhere else. But for those who don't know, I'm Paul Spooner. I'm also a very creative person. Did pencil drawing and stuff when I was little. Loved cross sections. Loved Dave McCauley. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff. He did Castle. He did The Way Things Work. Huge fan of his style. Kind of a creative hipster kind of, like I was a hipster before it was cool kind of thing, where I don't like staying in the mainstream of like what everyone else is doing. So I don't know any of the major bands. I was doing like jazz and bluegrass and classical trained piano. I started when I was about 5, so just a lot of that stuff, very offline, kind of off the beaten path kind of stuff. I never really got into painting too much, but when I was 13, my parents bought me a copy of Ray Dream Studio, and I started doing 3D modeling. And so I've kind of been doing that ever since, until recently when the AI tools have kind of picked up and nobody really needs human 3D model anymore, which is kind of sad. But it's also kind of great because it's like now people have access to this stuff. It used to be anyone who needed my services or something like that, it's expensive to, hire somebody to do this work. And now you can get it more or less for free. I mean, like for the price of a breakfast, you can get a month worth of 3D modeling. And that's just like, it's incredible. So.
Yeah, definitely. I would say 3D generative AI has come a very long way in the last 2 years, and I think there'll still be room for human 3D modeling for quite a while, but at least for certain things, like fast props, fast prototyping, like just a simple rigged character, AI definitely is getting to the point where, yeah, it's, as you say, it's very cheap and very easy to use. It's opening a lot of opportunities up, I think, for individuals and independent creators, because in the past you had to have, like a whole studio or at least some kind of budget to build a game. And now I think it's really making things easier for indie game devs.
Yeah, that combined with the broad availability of just stock 3D models and stuff, and character creation too. I know Hero Forge has been a huge hit on my work, but it's been a huge boon to the community of being able to. Most people just want a character model, and they don't really care that it's generated completely from scratch. They just want to be able to have their character, and Hero Forge does a fantastic job of that. I don't know. Have you seen it before?
I think I've heard of it, but you might have to tell me a little more about it. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Well, just, I mean, you browse to it right now, heroforge.com. It's just
Oh,
custom.
yeah.
I mean, they're miniatures, quote unquote, but you can download a 3D model basically. It's not rigged, but rigging a character has gotten a lot easier over the years as well. So, and a lot of the commissions I got, maybe, well, not a lot. Yeah, a lot of them. Maybe half of the commissions I got back in the day were people saying, I've got a D&D character, it looked like this, I want you to make a model of him. And so now this is available, and it costs a significant amount of money, and for a fraction of that, you can just go to Hero Forge and do it yourself, get whatever pose you want, whatever props you want. You can't get like an infinite variety of props, but it's a surprisingly broad set of things available there, and all texturing and all that stuff.
People are using Meshy for similar things, actually. Yeah, like I opened this up, but a lot of people are using it for like 3D minis for 3D printing. Like Meshy can also do rigging, which is nice. Like if you need to pose your character.
That was really neat to be able to have a character, generate it from an image, rig it with one click of the button, and then apply animations and stuff to it. It's very, very cool tech. I think you can actually upload your own models and then have Meshy rig it for you. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can upload your own models. You can, I mean, like with some success, I would say like generally, the tools are designed for Meshy models, but people upload their own stuff and rig it and texture it. A lot of people like they'll hand build, very low poly models that AI struggles to handle, and then they'll upload those to Meshy to texture. So that kind of they'll just use Meshy for a part of their workflow rather than the whole workflow.
Yeah, the auto texturing is amazing as well. Like so that's one of the things that I am not particularly skilled at. I don't really have a personal motivation to I don't care about textures, but I know that it's really important for presentation. Just having a raw model in just geometry is like, I love that. I just want the raw geometry. I don't want to obscure it.
Yeah, you're into your geometry, aren't you? Like well, I mean, I don't know if you want to mention like how we ended up sort of meeting, but
sure,
the what do you call it? The Escher painting, or the Escher 3D sphere thing. Yeah, I don't know if you want to mention that, but
yeah. So I was just to go a little more background stuff. In addition to doing 3D modeling, I'm a musician. I also use Suno, but I also do live stuff. I'm an author. I write a bunch of stuff, and this is all before generative AI came online. I programmed some of Minecraft, so again, that was like a decade ago, and so it's been interesting being in the creative space already, and then seeing how the AI tools are affecting my workflow, and then also seeing what's available in the broader space. It's also as another tangent that we can explore at some point if we want to. I'm very opposed to intellectual property. And so it's been encouraging personally, but also discouraging kind of like in a broader cultural sense, how the response to AI has been, where the AI tools are basically like, this is like, you don't have to worry about intellectual property infringement or anything. These are generated free of entanglements. And so I love that. And all of my stuff is released to the public domain as well. So it's like, I don't care if AI trains on my models or, learns about how I do things or whatever. It's like, doesn't bother me in the slightest. In fact, I'm happy about it. But then also seeing the larger community where a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want AI learning how to make drawings like I do drawings, or I don't want them training on my books or things like that. And it just kind of makes me, I guess I don't really understand how people think that this works, right? Like you don't get to say, oh, I painted a painting of a sunset, but now no one else can paint that sunset. It's mine. It belongs to me. I was like, how do you guys how do these people think this works? So anyway, so that's another tangent. But yes, I was back in the day. I worked on. I've always loved Escher, and Escher has three kinds of general categories of stuff that he makes. He did woodcuts, and so he was 100 years ago, I think. And so he would have an idea for an image. I think he would draw it out on the wood, and then he would painstakingly carve the wood out, and then you take that woodcut and you put ink on it and press it onto paper and make prints that way. So that's how they used to make prints. You'd do a woodcut and then press into paper. You could make a bunch of copies of it. So he's one of the more famous older artists because his work was widely distributed. He didn't make a painting. He would make a woodcut and then you could print it and have it all over the place.
What? That sounds like copyright infringement, or that sounds like the wood print was doing the work, not the artist.
Right, exactly. See, what was he really doing? What was he adding to the process at the end? So he made 3 kind of general categories of images. He made realistic images, which are just like usually interesting geometries or interesting kind of shapes. He would make images that had an interesting projection. So he does like the man holding the sphere, like a self-portrait where he's holding a sphere and then it's an image of him holding the sphere. And you have to remember this is before photographs, so just incredible attention to detail and perception on his part. A true artist. Like, I'm certainly not anywhere near his level. A real artist. So he did a bunch of stuff where there's like different perspectives on things. And then he did some images that are, MC Escher, Escher, I believe. And so he did some pictures that were just optical illusions. So falling water is one of the famous ones. Ascending and descending is another one of the famous ones. He only did a few of those. He didn't do a ton, but he's most famous for those images for whatever reason. And so if you look up MC Escher, you'll find almost all of the images that are available are labeled as optical illusions or impossible geometry, even though most of the stuff he produced was not impossible geometry and were not optical illusions in any way. So that's a little bit weird. Like it's an online labeling problem where people are like, oh, he's the optical illusion guy. So all of his stuff is optical illusions. Like, no, this MC Escher is like a real artist, and he just happened to make some of these that were famous. So anyway, the Tetrahedral Planetoid could be mistaken for an optical illusion because you look at it and you're like, whoa, that's different. But it's actually not. It's just a perfectly straightforward rendering of a very unusual object. And it's interesting in terms of AI. Well, so that's what we connected. I think you found the 3D model, and then I finished the backside of it. And then, is that...
That's the Tetrahedral Planetoid. Yeah, I think at a glance it almost looks like it's impossible geometry, but you certainly were able to make it in 3D, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and not only make a 3D model, which you can kind of fake if you use some shaders and stuff, you can kind of like get it to move things around in a clever way. But I didn't do that, and the evidence of that is I actually made a 3D print of it. So you can actually get a physical 3D print of this thing. And it's a real physical object. So it's not an illusion in any way, shape, or form. So that's the front side you've got shown there, the Tetrahedral Planetoid. And then that's a video I made.
That's an ad. There we go.
An advertisement on top of video I made.
I came across it because I wanted to put it into VRChat because I just thought it looked so cool, and I had this idea at the time of creating like an actual like planetoid like real gravity system. Well, there was already one that existed that I tried to use, but like a gravity system where you could sort of jump around the Escher artwork or the art piece and see it from like all angles.
Yeah.
And so we sort of coordinated a bit about that, didn't we? That must have been a while ago now. I don't know.
It was
a year or two ago.
I think it was over a year ago because this was this was at least maybe a year and a half ago when I did this. So I had made the 3D. I'd started working on this maybe like 20 years ago, and over the period of a decade, finished the stuff that you can see that MC Escher had drawn. But there's a whole backside. So a tetrahedral, it just means 4 faces. It's just a solid that's got 4 faces on it. And he only drew the front 2 faces. And so you could just take those front 2 faces and copy them and paste them on the back, but I didn't want to do that. So I did some sketches, drew up some concepts, and 3D modeled a completely unique, totally different back 2 faces of the Tetrahedral Planetoid. So that's what's in the model. And both of them are available. All this stuff is available on Sketchfab, so you can download. All
really
this stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I really wanted to put it into VR chat. I haven't quite found a way to do it yet. But yeah, maybe that sort of brings me to like some VR chat stuff I could talk about if
Sure, yeah. So after we met and you were like, hey, I want to put this up in VR chat, I made the back side of it and I sent it off to you, and then you're like, well, you should come take a look at what VR chat can do. Maybe you can help me integrate or stuff like that. And so you actually introduced me to VR chat. I didn't know much about it at all before then.
have you played it since then? I don't know if I've seen you online.
No, I haven't.
Okay. What were your impressions of VR chat? Just at a glance.
It reminds me of like 3D chat rooms back in the day. There were some like 3D chat rooms that you could do. It kind of feels like it's like halfway between what was that? What was the name of that? There was an old like virtual world thing. There's a couple of them. They were before they were NFTs, but it's kind of that same idea where it's like you could buy a chunk of land in a virtual landscape, and then you could put whatever you want there. And the idea was it would be like Neuromancer or some of these cyberpunk things where there's like
all of these. There's so many NFT scams now. They're like, we're the Ready Player One of the future. If you buy land in After Effects, you're going to be a millionaire. It's really amazing how many people invested in that, and then all of these games are kind of dead now. There's one actually I was involved in recently. I better not say which one, but they did that. They got their money, like they got their whole startup from selling virtual land, and now they kind of don't have a player base. But it's really weird because they still have all this money to draw from. They're still running, so they've got this entire game, and this entire system. And I think their peak player count is like 15 players online at once or something.
Oh man, yeah, it's a sad scam because it's a cool dream, and Minecraft kind of turned into that kind of like ad hoc virtual world kind of thing where you can go into the metaverse, right, and you can make anything, do anything, be anything, but still kind of grounded in physical laws. So I think Minecraft kind of became the ad hoc metaverse, and it just
people wanted to build. People wanted to build in virtual reality and show their friends, and I think there's a lot of good games that kind of do it, but there aren't any. It's not like the Oasis and Ready Player One where there's like this one dominant platform. But yeah, definitely people love doing that. I think that's one of the reasons VRChat's so popular, and one of the reasons I was drawn to it.
Yeah, so I think VRChat's a really cool platform. Like how I haven't tried the back end. I haven't tried any of the creation tools, but it seems like it's accessible enough that people can make a wide variety of interesting things in it.
It's
coming from a 3D modeling background. It seems a little bit, I don't know. There's something cramped about it, maybe. And I know that you've made some stuff that's like very expansive, but there's still something about it that it feels a little bit claustrophobic in some way. And I'm not sure how I can put my finger on it, but. Yeah, go ahead. How did you get into VRChat?
It might just be, that might just be that building an interior environment is so much easier. Like building and optimizing, an environment with rooms is just very easy in Unity. But when you start building very large and expansive landscapes or outdoor environments, optimization becomes a little bit more challenging. Still doable, of course, with like LODs and things. But most of VRChat's creators they're not like professionals, like they want to just be able to click like the occlusion culling button and have that optimized for them. They don't want to have to really put much thought into it. Like I've been making VRChat worlds, I guess, for like three or 4 years. I kind of got into it after COVID. So I quit my job working in healthcare, and me and my partner sold our house and moved to the country. And then I just had a whole lot of free time to pretty much dive into self-teaching like Unity game development, and VRChat was like a really good way to create the things that I was imagining, like these environments and these worlds, to create what was in my head in a way that people could experience and share. So I kind of dived very deeply into VRChat. I found a lot of weird rabbit holes and just weird things that other people had created. One of them really got me hooked. I guess it doesn't really have a name, but basically there's like 50 player created worlds that are hidden in the game, and people kind of, it was like this big mystery. This was years ago now, but big mystery that really drew people in, because it was like, oh, like, what is this group? Are they a cult? They had these symbols in some of the popular worlds that were just on the wall with no explanation, and no one knew what it meant. So that really hooked me, and then I started building environments for friends. I didn't want to learn Blender. That was kind of the the thing that actually led me to Meshy. But I thought learning Unity alone is like quite a big challenge, because I don't have any background in programming or game development. And so I thought, like, well, just putting all my efforts into learning Unity, if I can avoid having to touch Blender, that's going to save me a lot of time. So I started just using free assets at first, and then paid assets. But eventually I found Meshy and just started AI generating a lot of what I needed.
So were you using Sketchfab or
Sketchfab?
Yeah.
Sketchfab was. But the issue with using free assets is people start to notice the same assets used in multiple games and worlds, and it doesn't feel very unique.
Sure. I also noticed that there are some kind of big holes in the free asset space. My most popular assets on Sketchfab are a T-shirt hanging on a hanger and some pants hanging on a hanger, because it just wasn't available, right? And it's like it's this dumb thing, and like nobody wants to spend time making this thing, but like if nobody makes it, then nobody can get it. And so I put those together, and like it took off like crazy, because like, oh yeah, this is a great asset to have. And it's actually one of my friends making a procedural generation game where like the whole world gets procedurally generated, and the whole city and all the interiors and all that stuff. But at the lowest level, at the kind of the prop level, he has a lot of pre-made assets, and he was trying to make some T-shirts, and so he was just doing like billboards with like a picture of an alpha, masked T-shirt on it, and I was like, oh, I can do better than that. And so I was like, well, I'll just go on Sketchfab, find somebody, and I couldn't find anyone who had one for free. It's all, well, I'll just make it myself. And there are a number of places like that where if you've got access to the tools and you know how to make it, it's not a problem. But if you don't, like you were saying, like maybe there's only one or two options out there for free assets, and then it kind of starts to feel a little bit stale or derivative.
For certain things, yeah. Like if I need like a table, there's a lot of free options, for example. But if I need something niche or stylized to fit a world, that's where the challenge is, I guess, with using free and even paid assets. Even if you throw money at that problem, you can't necessarily find what you need. So, I found Meshy really good for creating like highly stylized assets that fit the environment like perfectly. And like very niche things, like things that basically no one would ever bother making a 3D model for, because the demand for it would be like two people.
Right. And being able to, like you said, match the style. A lot of people, when they use pre-made assets, they're like, oh, I like this beer mug, and I like this table, and I like this chair, but they're in slightly different or even drastically different styles. One of them is very realistic, and the other one's like World of Warcraft stylized, and another one maybe is like some sort of post-apocalyptic style or whatever, and they've got different levels of wear, different levels of, maybe they've got some baked-in lighting on them. So it can be very difficult once you start going down that rabbit hole of like, I want my game to look good, I want it to all tie together well, and like there's really no way to do that with free assets. Whereas with Meshy, like you said, definitely, you can just say, here's a particular style, describe it in a few words, or use an image generator to generate a bunch of different props in the same style, and just pop them in, get a 3D model out in like 10 minutes. It's so fast. And pre-textured, you don't have to think about texturing, you don't have to think about modeling. It's really, really good.
Yeah, actually, I'll show you just on that note. Sorry, I guess you will have to put some video maybe in the podcast. But I'll show you. Meshy just put out, we just released like a collections feature where people can combine like models into a collection for other people to download basically for free. So if you're a paid Meshy subscriber, you pretty much have access to like millions of free models that other people have published online. They're all CC by 4.0, so pretty much open sourced, and you can just use them for whatever you want, including commercial. I'll just show you some examples actually just on this note about models in a consistent style. So this is a friend of mine, Aiko. She creates models in this very like hyper stylized I don't really know what to call it. It's like a very Japanese, very like like marble gold, like it's a bit of steampunk, and she creates a lot of assets in the same style, and they're all very consistent. You can kind of see they you could create a whole environment just with these assets, and it would feel very
It's
unique.
almost like a kintsugi almost.
Yeah, yeah. So it's yeah. So like this is one person. This is kind of how you can use AI to create highly consistent styles. Like I don't know, there's like arches, all kinds of things. Um, and I'm seeing a lot of people doing this now. Like a lot of people are they're experimenting with very unique styles. Like they want their worlds to feel unique. People are putting their their stuff into Roblox, all kinds of things. So yeah, I think it's really cool. Like I'm pretty excited about it.
Yes. Yes. And like any one of these models would take me 2 hours minimum to make.
Mm.
And like, would the model that I ended up with have a better like a mesh topology? Yeah, probably. Would it have better textures? No, absolutely not. Like I don't do textures well, right? So you'd really need two people. You need someone who's really good at modeling and someone who's really good at texturing, or someone who's really good at both, which is even more rare, right? And then it's 2 hours of their time, 3 or 4 hours of their time. And if you had to hire that person, then you're paying a lot of money. If you have to become that person, you're spending even more time learning all these skills, right? Like you were saying, you don't want to have to learn Blender. I mean, you could, but who has time for that? You want to accomplish something. So it's so amazing that you have access, that we now all have access to this kind of technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you don't even have to pay. Like Meshy is a great option because it's so easy to use. But there's like free generative AI you can use now as well. There's open sourced ones. It's yeah, like Meshy's not the only option out there. But I would say, I'm a little biased, but it's definitely my favorite. But yeah, like here's an example. Like I decided I had this big liminal space here in my Unity. This is a VRChat world I'm building at the moment, and this is like a little secret area. Yeah, it's like a secret art gallery. Actually, hang on, let me show you the main area. So the way you get to it is actually you start up here. This is kind of like an old Japanese bathhouse.
So much detail and texture. Is this actually
so this one?
VRChat?
Yeah. This is. I mean, I've spent a lot of time optimizing everything, but this model here, like this is player created. This building here was like an asset flip. But what I've done with this is I've kind of added little like extras. Like, so this here is a Meshy model, this lantern. The theme is the golden dragon, so I've added things like this, just to add a bit of flavor to the environment, to make it feel a bit more, like a bit less like an asset flip and like something a bit more thoughtful. And yeah, basically, if you well, it's not showing the interior environment right now, but there's like a bath area, and if you drown yourself in the bath, you actually end up down here in the this kind of liminal environment. And I decided I wanted to create like a showcase of some Meshy models that I made.
Nice.
Is it like an art gallery?
Yeah. So these are
so this is kind of an example.
Texture kind of stuff. Is that an actual iridescent shader on there, or is it just the texture looks iridescent?
It's well, we just released like a new PBR feature so that you get like full normal maps and everything now, and they look pretty good with like a nice material in Unity. You can kind of see the effect with this really well. But yeah, like these are all pretty quick to create. I put a bit of thought into it, but in general, I just wanted to fill the space. Like I wasn't too worried about getting everything perfect, and I kind of just added a bunch of models. I'll probably add more. The theme was meant to be like glass, like carnival glass, so everything here is really shiny. But I find Meshy really good for just filling out a world, making it feel a bit more lived in. And it does like a lot of things quite well. Like you can be quite artistic with it, I think. This is a model. This is two Meshy models actually, that I decided to turn into like a little bouquet of flowers with a bug on top.
Yeah, butterfly.
Yeah.
So were these all generated from images, or were they generated from prompts? How'd you get Meshy to make these?
Most of these were actually from AI images. So Meshy has a built-in AI for this. You can pretty much just yeah, I think we use Flux Context. You can just describe what you want here, and then once it generates the images, you just send it to image to 3D. So yeah, I mean, the good thing is you can like modify an image until you get it perfect, pretty much, like with ChatGPT is what I usually like to do, and I'll incorporate that into my workflow just to get exactly what I want out of Meshy. It does take a bit of skill. It's not super approachable yet. Like, a lot of people just want to type like a few words and get exactly what they want, and they kind of don't understand. They kind of, it's you got to like iterate a bit. You got to learn how the tool works. I think that's the case for many AI tools right now. A lot of people who don't get it, they're just not willing to really think about the process, and they're not really willing to experiment. And I think for AI, that's very important.
Sure. Well, there's a concept. Do you read XKCD, the webcomic?
I know of it. Yeah.
There's one of the famous ones is the wishing well of uncomfortable truths, where you throw a penny in and it tells you something uncomfortable, but that's also true. And so people are throwing stuff in, your fiance doesn't love you or whatever like that. And then one guy throws some penny in, and the well says, "You'll never find a programming language that relieves you of the necessity of clarifying your ideas." And he responds to the wishing well, "But I know what I mean." And it's exactly the same thing with AI, where someone says, "Oh, I want a picture of a dragon." And it's like, there isn't just one picture of a dragon. There isn't even just one dragon, right? There's like an infinite latent space of dragons and an infinite latent space of styles in which one could portray all of those different dragons. And so to get something like this, you can say picture of a dragon or a dragon's head or something like that. But if you wanted it to match the style and you wanted to match the setting of all these different things, then you really need to go into some specificity. And that's the thing of clarifying your ideas that you were talking about. You will never find a way to get away from needing to do that if you want something specific.
Right. Yeah, I think prompt engineering really fundamentally is about communication. And so people who are expert communicators find it very easy to describe exactly what they want. Like I think I read somewhere someone was saying the new programming language of the future is just English, because we're going to be talking to AI and explaining exactly what we want, and then the AI is just going to be doing the work behind the scenes. So I think, a lot of people who kind of aren't very good at communication, they struggle with AI. And I mean, yeah, as AI gets better, though, I think it's going to, the process that we go through to get what we want with AI is going to become a little bit more real time. And so, and also you'll be able to just talk. Like, I just recently started using GPT-5 on my phone. They have like an advanced voice mode now, which I just discovered. Didn't know about it. But, I could just be driving and talking to GPT-5 as I drive and brainstorming ideas. So I think, as the technology improves, the whole process is going to be easier and more approachable for the average person.
Right. And like you said, communication is very important. The ability to communicate is important. But also, AI it's trained on the bulk of humanity and human output. And so it does have a very significant bias toward standard kind of forms. And so to go back to the Tetrahedral Planetoid, where we kind of began, I have tried in multiple different image generation tools and in Meshy to get the AI to actually make that 3D model, or even just to make an image that looks like the original image. And the AI cannot, it's just not in the AI's
It's not going to do it.
Yeah, because there's only one of those in the entire universe, as far as we know. There's only one image of that nature, right? Where there's this planet that's so small that you can see the curvature not only in the landscape, but in the floors of the buildings themselves are curved, right? And so for it to be able to do that, maybe at some point it will. Is it important to be able to do that? No, of course not. But if you want to be able to do something very niche like that, that's far off the beaten path, you really will still need to have to be able to develop the skills yourself. And so that's
definitely
kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't anticipate AI doing that kind of 3D modeling anytime soon. And I think, as you said, like the data sets that we're training our AIs on, there's like millions of images of dragons, for example, but there's not millions of different images of Escher's pieces from every angle, things like that. I think AI will probably continue to struggle for a long time. like all kinds of AI for things that we have a limited data set for. But yeah, who knows? Like, I think like it's getting, nobody can really anticipate how AI will evolve and improve. You can kind of like theorize, but yeah, I mean, I anticipate there's a possibility for AI to solve almost every problem like that with enough time eventually.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, actually, what do you want to talk about next? We could go, I did want to talk more about the sort of philosophy stuff. We kind of touched on it, and like the intellectual property stuff.
Sure.
So yeah, I kind of have a similar approach to you, I think. Where, I mean, for me, I like to create things that other people see and experience, and for me, that's kind of like what I get out of it. I think a lot of people have a very different approach, though. There's a lot of people who they kind of see their creativity as a vehicle for profit, and I think it is quite short-sighted. It's weird too, because a lot of the people who have this attitude that like, oh, AI is theft, it's terrible, blah blah blah, they're actually on the left, like politically, but the attitude they have, to me, feels very capitalistic, because they want to protect basically their ability to generate income. And so, yeah, I don't know. To me, it feels very weird, because it's kind of like a contradiction. But personally, I like to, like I want to give away, the things I create. If somebody sees it and enjoys it, or even uses it and builds upon it, to me, that's like really cool. So I think I should have a similar attitude there.
Yeah, yeah. So coming to similar conclusions, maybe by a different path, but yeah, it's a similar kind of conclusion of, if I made a thing, it doesn't cost me anything extra for people to enjoy it and use it. So why would I charge someone? Like, if I'm going to charge somebody, it's going to be upfront to do something. I'm going to take a commission, right? Like, I haven't made it yet.
Yeah.
If you want me to make it, I'd be happy to do it. It's going to take some of my time, so I'm going to charge you up front. And then, I made the thing. But then, like, once I made the thing, like, why would I not upload it for free on, wherever, right? Allow people to use it, because I already made it. And so, it doesn't hurt anyone to have that thing. Now, there are some arguments about accessibility or exclusivity, where someone wants to know that they're the only one who has access to this thing. And it's kind of a sense of ownership, in the sense of being able to exclude other people from it, right? Like, you own your bedroom, where you can keep other people out. But it doesn't seem like that model of thought maps very well onto digital creativity, because it's so easy to copy, and there's no real capacity for you to keep people out anyway. I mean, like, if you show it to somebody, then you've given it away, essentially. And
so anyone can screenshot your NFT, for example.
Right. Like,
your Bored Ape image.
yeah. It's so silly. So yeah, I think there's a mapping problem of, like, people thinking, oh, well, I own my car and I wouldn't want anyone else to just drive off with my car. It's like, well, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, because you lose something in that case, right?
Right. They're taking something away from you.
Yeah, I think if the question people should ask themselves is, if they took money out of the equation, would they still feel the same way about people using like their art or, things like that? I feel like the answer would be no for many people. But, I understand like creatives want to make money with their creativity, but for me personally, that's not really the motivation. Also, I think the thing that adds value to creativity isn't so much just having the idea. There's no shortage of ideas. Everyone has. You can ask anyone and just be like, "What are your ideas?" and they'll give you 10 great creative ideas. But the thing that actually adds the value is the time and energy that gets put into it, and that's not something that you can just like copy paste to steal from someone. So, I have no concerns. I don't think anyone is going to be able to create exactly the kind of things I create with my vision and my style. Even if they use AI, even if they completely try to, rip it off from me, I know like whatever I create is still going to be unique. So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, same here. And like you said, it would be really nice to be able to more easily make money. But to me, that just sounds like mercenary kind of thinking, right? Like, oh, well, I want to be able to make money more easily, so I should be able to hold people up at gunpoint and like make them pay me. That doesn't sound right. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a. I guess I mean I don't know if I should go too far with this, but I think it is a little bit of a selfish approach. Like, hey, if you love people, give it away for free, right? Like, just yeah. No, but I understand. Like, it is a. I think a lot of the people who are creatives, they're struggling financially. The artist never gets recognition or money until after he's dead or whatever.
Right.
So it's yeah, I do get it, but also like there are other ways to make money, and then you can still make art. Like, you don't have to make art for profit, and most people actually don't really make art for profit. Like, they make it for fun because they enjoy it. So yeah, that's what I'm into.
Yeah, and I do have friends who are like concept artists who are basically like on the curb because they can't make money anymore because AI generative stuff can do concept art just so well and so cheaply. I have friends who are authors who are just like really struggling because generative AI can generate text, and it does it. I mean, it's not a great job, but it's a pretty decent job. And like they're like, well, how am I gonna make ends meet? It's like, man, I don't know, man. I don't have any answers, but like
I do.
shutting down that whole avenue of human expression and not allowing everyone else to have access to these tools doesn't seem like the right answer to me.
Well, I think at the moment, AI is pretty democratized. It's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
For $20 a month, you can do a lot. I would tell these creatives, like, start using AI in your workflows. Like, start finding ways in which it can save you time so that you can focus on the things you actually enjoy and the things where you can add the most value. It's no different really from like the camera being invented, for example, and now suddenly people are less interested in landscape painting because we can just take a photo of a landscape, or we can take a photo, like realistic art became less popular, but then abstract art became more popular with the invention of the camera. So I think a lot of creators are just going to have to evolve and kind of accept that the technology is here and it's not going away. And the ones who I personally know who are kind of embracing AI and using it to empower their own workflows, like, they're doing fine. Like, they're still selling their art. They're doing really well. So yeah, it's just a mindset change that I think a lot of these people need to have. And it's funny, you mentioned like concept art. I have a friend in the UK who went to university to study concept art, and just before he started studying concept art, this was like 2 years ago, I told him, I was like, hey, AI is going to pretty much replace this profession, right? Like, probably in the next 5 years.
Wow.
And he kind of didn't get it. And he kind of told me, well, AI can't do fingers, and of course, as we all know now, AI has been able to do fingers in images now for like at least a year, right? So yeah, a lot of the criticisms and a lot of the ways a lot of people approach AI is they're just looking at what it can do now, but this is the worst AI will ever be today. Like, from this point on, it's only going to get better. And I think being able to kind of that's true. Yeah, we might all get sent back to the to being Luddites or whatever. But yeah, I think like it's important for people who are worried about the economic aspects to actually like really think about, okay, well, where is the technology going? Like, what kind of roles won't it replace, and actually make some good decisions for that. I think like burying your head in the sand is not gonna work basically.
Yeah And I am speaking from a position of privilege. I have a day job that is not art related whatsoever and is not easily AI replaced, although if I was able to replace my job with AI, that would be great, because then I could go do something else, right? Like, I wouldn't be using my human effort to tackle this complex problem. If we solve the problem, great, now I can go tackle something else that we haven't solved yet. So I think like you're saying, being on the front of the wave instead of letting the wave, surfing the wave instead of letting it bowl you over is the correct mindset.
Yeah, I think so. And like, we just hired somebody at Meshy to do customer support, and like, it's, even though this person has a more traditional customer support background, we're pretty much like, hey, like, how can we use AI within customer support to make everything more efficient so that we can scale it? Like things like that. Like, people who are open-minded to like all of these new changes are going to keep their jobs and are going to find new ways to do their jobs. But people who just want to like do things the same way that they've always done it are probably going to get replaced eventually. Hate to say it, but it is just the way things are going.
Sure. Yeah. It's a weird, crazy world, but it's a really fun world too.
Well, I'm having a lot of fun with AI. You probably can tell I'm pretty like pro AI.
Yeah.
And
So tell me
actually,
about Suno. We should talk about Suno a little bit.
Suno. Yeah.
Do you have any
I
music background, or is all of your music stuff Suno based?
I think I learned like basic guitar when I was like 18, just for a bit. But I never really got into music. So I enjoy listening to music, but I don't really have any musical skills. So for me, I'm just using Suno in a very like intuitive way, just with prompt engineering. And I've released a few videos on my YouTube channel, and I used another AI tool called Neural Frames, which actually, let me open this up. So there's another tool called Neural Frames, which you can use to, like create like trippy visuals and animations that go along with your music, basically. So I started experimenting with that, but I ended up canceling my subscription for it just because it's still pretty slow. I need to find like more efficient ways to create videos. This video here took me, I think, like this still took many hours to get right because it's very hard to get the AI to do what I want still for video.
So this is a tool that's generating images based on those other images, like sequentially or something?
Yeah, basically the way it works is AI generates like 20 images or 30 images. You drag them onto a video editor, and then this creates frames between each one that turn into a video.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, I can see there's some of them that kind of jump quickly between the different frames.
Yeah, you're getting the transitions right is not easy. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Have you tried AI video much?
I did a little bit. I have a Midjourney subscription, and so I do most of my image and now AI video through Midjourney. I like doing just still images in Midjourney, and then chaining them together with the transitions on the beat of the music and things like that. And then I have a technique that it's basically just adding a glow with a little bit of a high-end boost using a curves tool in Blender to get the whole image to kind of pulse to the music, and that works pretty well. I like how it comes out, and that way it's much faster than generating 80,000 frames or whatever. You just generate maybe like 80 of them and then have them interspersed throughout the video. But
yeah, I saw the video. I think you did a tutorial, didn't you? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I put a tutorial up, and then I've also used the Midjourney video generation. I like the start end frame thing where you can set a start frame and set an end frame, and then you can use those to make either looping videos or videos that are like two sets of videos that loop. And if you use all of them, because it generates, although I think they've added an option to only generate one or two, but by default it generates 4 videos, and it kind of feels bad like throwing away 3/4 of the video generation that you paid for. And so I use this technique of setting the start and end frames so that they would loop into each other, and then having kind of a multiple different paths through that video space where you've got different varieties of the videos that were generated, and then you can chain them together in different ways so that it's the same video looping over and over again, but not exactly the same.
All right. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, there's so many like everyone's experimenting with different workflows like for all of this stuff. It's really fascinating to me.
Yeah. I do like how this kind of slowly evolves through what did you say it was, neural space or something?
Neural frames.
Neural frames.
It's pretty cool. Like that they have another feature actually. It's called autopilot, and you pretty much like they try to make it as automated as possible. You just write the prompt and it generates the images and then puts the video together for you. But I found that quite difficult to use because half of the images it generated like have no relation to your prompt whatsoever. And then it kind of like does this video. Yeah, it kind of does this like really weird, bizarre music video where it tries its best, but the end result, it's so clearly AI, and it's so just surreal and bizarre. I don't really see many uses for it just yet. But yeah, like I'm pretty excited. Like I think just being able to make a song that you like and then quickly create like a simple video for it, I think is pretty nice. Like people seem to enjoy it. Most of the stuff is just I just see it as experimentation. I'm not really worried about whether or not people love it or not. Like I said, I'm not going to do any more of the neural frame stuff. I canceled my subscription, but now I'm trying Midjourney video. So I'm learning another tool.
Yeah.
Just trying some new things. Yeah, there's a Midjourney looping video feature, which seems pretty nice. So I'll keep experimenting with that.
Yeah. Yeah, Midjourney is, I really do appreciate the way that they're handling the development of their tools. They have a lot of levers if you want to pull the levers, but you don't have to use them. They have a lot of features. They've got great support. I'm pretty happy with how they're doing stuff. One of my dreams is...
Have you tried the personalized feature in Midjourney?
Yeah, I use it about half the time. If I want something that I feel like is going to be something that I'm going to enjoy, then I turn on personalization. If I want it to be something where I'm trying to visualize something that people would recognize, then I turn it off. Is basically how I handle that. But you can do multiple different personalization profiles, and there's a bunch of tools in there as well. They've got mood boards. They've got stylization. I really like having the stylization. I'll put a link in or actually, I can send you a link if I can find it quickly enough.
Yeah, I did the Midjourney personalize, and I quite liked images that were diagrams a lot. And then it started generating every image with like text in it, which wasn't very helpful, including like, other, like the actual artists like watermarks in the images, which is like, I don't really want to put that in the video. So yeah, I found it pretty hit and miss, but certainly the actual image quality in general from Midjourney is crazy at the moment. Like, I think it looks awesome.
Yeah. The only downside for me, at least, is I've got the lowest tier subscription, and so I will burn through my entire month's video generation in, I don't know, a dozen videos basically. So it's got very limited capability if since I'm not willing to pay more. But
can I just ask powerful. Definitely. What's your monthly AI bill for subscriptions right now, if you're willing to share?
Right now,
do you know?
I'm paying whatever it is on X. I think it's $20 a month or something.
Yeah.
And then $10 a month for Midjourney, and that's it. So
that's impressive, actually. I think I'm paying like $300 USD a month on all of the tools I'm using. So it's starting to get up there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Although, especially for things like neural frames and like video, once you start generating video, like or trying to in high quality, it's very expensive at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it can certainly add up. So do you have a higher subscription of Midjourney then, probably?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's that or neural frames, or I also do some Vibecoding with Rosebud AI for prototyping game ideas. There's a lot of different tools I'm using at the moment.
Nice. Well, I'm failing to find my own video. I guess I'm going to have to switch over to my other account here. Get a link to it. But I made a couple of style images that I then used to set the style for all the images I generated for this one particular music video. And I don't. Does Meshy have an image style tool?
Yeah, we have something like that. I actually haven't tried it myself yet. I probably should, but you can upload an image and then it can reference the style for future generations, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I found that is one of the most powerful tools that I really like about the generative AI in general, is saying, here's the thing, here's an example of the style, use this, as opposed to trying to describe the style and detail out what kind of lighting and color palette and all that stuff. It's like, no, just give an example, and then the AI is like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just make it kind of like that.
Actually, on that subject, have you tried GPT custom projects?
I think I did one, but I haven't experimented with it very, very deeply. I had a GPT subscription for a while, but I let it lapse.
Yeah, yeah. There's something I use quite a lot is where you create a project and then you put the instructions for the project into it, and then any chat you do in that project can reference those instructions. And I find that really useful for retaining like a particular visual style, at least from a text prompt. Although I think you can upload images too, but I have like a GPT custom project where I just tell it like basically it's going to generate images in my style, and as you can see, I have a pretty specific, like trippy kind of colorful style. So yeah, I find it really useful for that, or for retaining instructions for anything I have to do repeatedly.
Right. So then you have your customized, it kind of gives it a system prompt kind of, or something like that.
Yeah, well, it just retains, any image I tell it to generate, and that should look or should have a similar style to images, to all the other images I've generated in that project. But I use it for other things too. Like, for example, if I did some hiring recently, and I was able to just like process like CVs and stuff through it, so where it would just tell me, okay, is this person, is the CV suited for the role, like for the job description. And for ones where it was just like absolutely not, it's like, oh cool, well I don't have to read that CV. Like it saves me time. So yeah, like for ones where it's like, yeah, this person, yeah, I mean, and like I don't know, like people, yeah, like AI just for speeding up tasks like that is so useful. So I'm getting into like AI for workplace automation lately, and it's kind of another whole rabbit hole that I could go into. But you see it, your job at the moment, it's not like art focused, is it? But are there ways you could use AI? Like, do you use a computer in your job very often?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm a mechanical engineer. I do design, machine design and stuff. And so I do use some AI tools. Like when I start on a new design, sometimes I'll have Midjourney generate some concept ideas, just kind of to give myself a starting place for the visual. Not that it's any good at design. Like the functional side is still completely on me, but kind of having an aesthetic in mind of like, oh, I could put this piece here instead of there, or kind of how to arrange the large structure of it to get a kind of aesthetic is it's really nice. And it turns out better than before, right? Like before we had access to these tools, I still, the thing would still work, but it might look a little, just not quite right. And so having access to something to just kind of inspire your design, or to, when you're stuck on something, just be like, well, I don't know how to approach this problem, and just like generate a dozen images of things that might do the job that you're trying to do. And none of them are going to, be perfect. You just, put it right into CAD and, you're done. But it helps you kind of get unstuck sometimes. And I think that probably the same thing is true of writing. I haven't really tried doing a lot of writing with AI. It's not been part of my creative expression recently. But I feel like writer's block could really benefit from some AI tools where you're just like, all right, here in the story, I need an outline to bridge this story plot point to that story plot point. Here's the characters, here's the text, go. And it just, blam, you've got an outline. It's like, oh, great, good. That's off my plate. I don't have to think about it anymore. Because like if you've got an idea, great, you write it down. But if you don't have any ideas, like that's writer's block, right? It's like, I don't know where to go from here. Well, you just have the AI generate something for you. There's no harm in like, I don't have any ideas. Give me something.
Yeah,
right?
often, I would say that's probably the strength for like creative writing. The strength of AI at the moment is definitely the brainstorming side of things, rather than the very specific editing and stuff. I think it's great. Like often I'll be stuck for something, like writing something, and I'll ask AI for ideas, and it will give me like 10 terrible ideas. But for some reason, like that kind of gets me thinking in a different direction. It can help, get me moving again with my own ideas. And so one way I use ChatGPT at the moment is when I'm walking my dog, I will just be talking to my phone, like recording my own ideas. I'd like just like stream of consciousness stuff, like let's say I've been thinking about something, I want to write it down, maybe I want to turn it into a blog later. I'll just be talking to my phone as I walk. By the end of the walk, it's pretty much turned it into like a blog outline for me. And then like I don't like the way AI writes, so what I then do with that is I might just edit it or rewrite it myself, even just in my own style. But all of the ideas are there, and they're all like connecting logically. That's what the AI is good at. And then I can just edit it and to turn it into my own style of writing if I want to. And it's a great way to save time.
Yeah. It's an amazing set of tools.
Yeah, and I'm learning like every week like a new way to use AI that just blows my mind. Like it's moving so quickly.
So if we did, hypothetical, if we did have some sort of solar flare, knocks out all the electronics, you've got your partner, you've got your dog. What
I'd
do you
probably
do?
be okay. Yeah, because I'm already semi off grid. Like, it collects rainwater. I mean, it would suck not having electricity, but I've got a coal range. I've got chickens, so I'd actually probably be okay, or at least for a while. But
Sure.
until the raiders come, we're not really allowed to own weapons in New Zealand, so I'd be at the mercy of the starving city people when they came to the country. But no, it's yeah, like I think AI, it is becoming a little bit all encompassing in my life. I probably need to take a break and go on go touch grass. But it's so interesting to me. Yeah, I just become obsessed with it all.
Hmm. Hmm. You go into a cave and start doing cave paintings or something.
Yeah, I feel like I need to just go somewhere without my phone. Go walk in a forest or something. I haven't done that for a while.
Hmm. Well, we've got an hour under the belt here. Anything you wanted to
Wow, that
touch
went
on
quickly.
before we close up, or
Um, I mean, yeah, there's more things I could talk about. I don't know. I think we covered a lot though.
yeah, you
Let me just
mentioned in
have a
here
look. I did
event
write a few notes.
coordination, uh, or maybe I put that on the schedule. Like you do
Hmm.
event coordination and like online versus in person stuff. Do you coordinate any in person stuff, or is it all online?
Oh, I used to coordinate in-person events in previous jobs in real life, but no, I've been doing some event design for Meshy, so uh, just things like holiday events and just events to get the community engaged and interested, like generation challenges and things like that. We're going to have a excuse me, we're going to have a Halloween event coming up, which I'm planning at the moment. So yeah, no, I don't know if that's particularly interesting to your audience, but yeah, I've done a bit of event planning, and I don't know, like I guess like event planning for me, it's kind of fun. Like the fun part is actually doing the event. That all the planning is really tedious, and even using AI for it, it's quite complex because usually building an event for a website involves like backend changes and talking to developers, and it's never as simple as just writing down ideas and then like clicking start or whatever. Like when any idea that involves other people always feels like a bottleneck to me because with AI I could do everything myself, but the moment it involves other people and their schedules, it's like infinitely more complex.
Mm, mm. Like scheduling this very podcast.
Yeah, well, actually, this was pretty easy to schedule. Although, yeah, I've been pretty busy lately. But yeah, no, I'm really glad I did this, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. It's my pleasure as well. And thanks for reaching out originally about the Tetrahedral Planetoid and staying
Mm.
connected, introducing me to VRChat. And it's been good getting to know you a little better. And hopefully we'll be in touch in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I actually was thinking of starting my own podcast, which I think I mentioned to you already. But if yeah, when and if I do that, I'd love to have you on as well.
Oh, fun. Well, that'll be great. So I'll put links to all this stuff, but you are at axinovium.ai and I'm
Yeah,
at peripheralarbor.com or triumph.com. Either one reaches me. We both have YouTube channels. We'll put some links in there as well. And yeah, if you're looking for somebody to do AI stuff or someone to hook you up with some technologies or someone you just want to offload some tasks to or stuff, reach out to Axi, and I'm sure he'd be happy to hook you up.
yeah. If anyone has any creative like questions from a creative perspective about using AI, I do have my own Discord community, which you're welcome to join and ask any questions. A lot of the people in it are kind of like me; they're using AI for many different parts of their processes, and they'd be very happy to help, I think.